All right, you should have already copied the Alamo folder from Poland Pickup into your folder in schools. And if you look in here, you'll see that you already have some web pages. You have an images folder with some images in it, as well as a source folder with a couple of images and a CSV file. We're going to be using some of these images to create a banner using Fireworks. Fireworks is another program by Adobe, and you'll find that in your Finder and Applications. So we want to start by creating a new Fireworks document, and this is how we put in the dimensions. It is going to have a width of 900 and a height of 150. We're going to keep the resolution at 72 pixels per inch, and we're going to create a custom color that has a hexadecimal code 999933. And it's kind of an army green color, and that's okay. It's going to match everything that we have here. Okay. Now the reason we chose 900 is because of the width of our website. We want everything to be able to fit on our page without having to do too much scrolling up or down, and absolutely no scrolling left or right. So match those dimensions and then click OK. And this is what you should have. All right, so we're going to use two of those files that were in the source folder. So I'm going to go to File and Open, and I'm going to find that Alamo folder and go into Source. And we're using Alamo Floor Plan and Alamo Photo. And I'm going to go ahead and open them. And I'm going to start off here with my Alamo photo. This is a photo of the Alamo, a simple photo. We want everything except for the white background. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my magic wand, and I'm going to select the white. And remember, when you have to make more than one selection, you can hold the Shift key down to select both parts. I'm then going to go to select inverse, so it selects just the Alamo, and then I can copy and paste. Now, you're probably going to have to resize this a little bit. We want it to sit on the page, but so that we can see the top of it. Some of the bottom may fall off, and we also may just stretch it out a little bit, which normally we don't do, but we want it to sit on almost half of the size of this banner. Okay? All right, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our rectangle tool, which is right here. And if we look down here in the properties, I want you to notice that we have a fill area and we have a stroke area. I'm going to go ahead and set my stroke at transparent. Okay, that's the white box with the red line through it. And then my fill is going to be a gradient. So if I just needed a solid color, I could choose it from here. But I need a gradient, so I'm going to go right here, and this is going to allow me to choose it. I need to choose white on the left-hand side, and I need black on the right-hand side. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to draw a rectangle and make sure that it covers the picture of the Alamo. Now, I have a gradient, however, my gradient is going top to bottom instead of left to right. So I need to click on the image or the rectangle using my move tool or my pointer tool, and notice that I get this gradient bar. So there's two sides to it. The circle, which allows me to move the starting point. So I'm going to move the starting point over on the left-hand side. The square allows me to move the end point. So I'm going to move that all the way to the right. And we do want it to be, as close as possible to being straight across it as we can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be pretty close. Okay? Now, just like in Photoshop, we have our layers panel. And if you don't see layers, you can go to Window and find all your panels. But using our layers, we can select more than one item. And I want to select both the rectangle and the bitmap of the Alamo below it. Okay? And we can select more than one item by holding down our Shift key. Then I'm going to go to Modify, Mask, Group as Mask. And notice that what it did is it faded out the area that was darker, and then the area that was lighter, you can see through it. And then here in our layers, you can actually see the bitmap image. Okay? Now, we're done with that photo, so you can close it, and no, you don't need to save it. And next, we're going to go to the Alamo floor plan. I'm going to zoom in on this one a little bit, and we're going to need to get our magic wand again. And typically when you use your magic wand, you do need to play with the properties down here, the tolerance. You may remember the tolerance from Photoshop. And I'm putting mine at 100 right now. And notice if I click right around here and do 100, it selects almost all, oh, except for that selected white. That didn't select, that didn't select black. Let me try that again. There, I think that time I got the black. And you can see it got almost all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, and I'm going to try and see if what it did here. And if I move it onto my page, yep, I got all black. I didn't get any white, so that's a good selection for me. And you may have to play with it a couple of times to get the right selection, so you can press pause in order to do that. All right, so at this point, what I want to do is I want to use my selection or scale tool, and I may have to resize it some, but I also want to tilt it and rotate it and reposition it some, because I want it to fit on this half where the Alamo has been faded out. Okay, so I like that position right here, I think. And I think that's good. Now, because the Alamo has been faded out, this floor plan looks awfully dark right now. So I want to use my opacity to dull it some. And I can do that down here in my properties. I can do it up here in my layers as well. But I'm going to make it, I'm going to try 35. Yeah, I like 35% opacity, and that fades it out nicely. Okay? All right, next I need to get some text on my banner. And the title of our website is going to be the Alamo. So I'm going to use my text tool, and I want down here in my properties, I want to choose Arial. And so the first set allows me to choose the typeface. And then this next drop-down menu allows me to choose the specific type. So I'm choosing Arial bold. I think that was what I want. Arial, oh no, sorry, Arial black. There we go, Arial black right there. The color, I want white. So if we come over here, the last fill color we used was a gradient, so it's on gradient right now. These are our fill options down here at the bottom. I need to change it to a solid color, which is right here. Just so you know, the third option here are patterns. Okay, so we have solids, gradients, and patterns. I'm choosing solids, and I want to have a solid white color. And I'm just going to type the Alamo, and I am capitalizing the T and the A in the Alamo. And the size of this, I think is, let's try 90. I think 90 looks, maybe that's a little bit big. Let me try 75. There we go. I'm going to do 75, and then I need to duplicate it. Okay. Now, we have obviously copy and paste, but I can also, by holding down my Option key and using my black arrow, I can make a duplicate copy. Okay? And now this duplicate copy, I'm going to make 90 pixels. It's going to be much bigger. And I'm going to change the opacity of this one to, let me see, 25 first. Yeah, I'm going to change it to 25. And I'm also going to up the font a little bit more. Let me do 100. Okay. And 25% opacity. So you can see how it's sitting. The bottom edge is pretty much lined up, both of them, but you can see the faded one how it's bigger and wider than the original. Okay? And I'm going to move that over just a little bit. Whoops. I moved it down too and I didn't mean to. There we go. All right, now I need a third piece of text that's going to say, and this is going to be all lowercase, an online tour. And that's too big. So I'm going to move this down to here, and I have this at 30 pixels. And it's going to sit basically, you want the right edge of the tour, the word tour, to be lined up with the O here in Alamo. Okay? And make sure there's some space there. All right. And now go ahead and go to part 2 so that you can add the navigation.